Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cougar Sports Network for another home men's soccer game. Some non-conference action between the visiting University of Wisconsin-Stevens Pointers and obviously your Concordia Chicago Cougars. Kayla McLeod here on the call, joined by Eric Perry as we get ready to get underway. Eric, I think we're in for a good game today.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Cougs are trying to end this 5-game home stretch to start the season with a win as they head into road play, get their record back up to 500 and just get some momentum as the conference season is creeping closer.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. The Cougars, sitting at that 1-2-1 record so far, and all of those contests have been right here in River Forest. So a little bit of that home field advantage, and obviously looking to capitalize on that as they're ending that home opening stretch here. But they've got a lot of things and a lot of moving players that are going to be key in continuing that success and trying to come away with that win. Obviously, we're seeing a starting lineup that looks pretty similar to what we've seen so far this season. Coach Brad Callahan getting into the rhythm with his squad here. A lot of new faces that making their debut for the Cougars this season, and a lot of familiar faces, one of those being sophomore number 30, Michael Sinise. He's getting the start here again today. He's the leading goal scorer for the Cougars, and he's been a force to be reckoned with and looking to continue that here today.
Yeah, definitely. He's been the big playmaker for the Cougs this season. Like you said, leads the team in goals, but he's also just been there creating opportunities for other scorers and allowing them to get some moments where they can try to get off some shots of their own.
Absolutely, and we are officially underway here in River Forest. The Cougars wearing their home white uniforms, going from right to left on your screen. The Pointers in their road purples, going from left to right here as CUC looks to get something moving quickly, sends that ball up the near side line, but it's going to be batted around a little bit. Little give and go here from Justin Ocampo, and that feed inside just can't quite connect with Sinise. Pointers going to clear that out, but coming out and grabbing it is Nathan Gudiel, the goalkeeper here for the Cougars. And he's been pretty instrumental for this CUC team so far this season. We didn't see him get that first start for the first game of the season, but we've seen him start ever since, and he's been a pretty solid wall in that net. Yeah,
definitely. He's made it so that the Cougs, when they do lose, they aren't getting blown out. He's been a very good presence there in the goal. He's kept the Cougs in games and has allowed them to, again, keep all of their games relatively close up until the end.
Absolutely, Gudiel. He's a sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, but last season he appeared in 14 games and started in 11 of those, and we're seeing that continue here this season as the Pointers looking to make a little bit of a run here. They send that ball on that near side flag, cutting back on the inside, but that's going to be poked away by the Cougars. And coming back with it, sending it back, trying to resettle here as they send a long ball switching across the field, and that's going to be bounced away by the Cougars, and here comes CUC quickly.
This is going to be a very interesting game because these are two very strong defensive teams. They both have very good goalies in net, and they both just have very strong defenses in general, neither team allowing a whole lot of goals.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it. Let's talk about that Pointers keeper, actually. Number 0, Jacob Havlick. He's the only goalkeeper that's seen minutes so far in the 4 games that Stevens Point has played, but he also was the only goalkeeper that saw time last season for the Pointers. He started every game last season. He had 5 shutouts on the season by himself. He combined for 8. I mean, he's just been a force to be reckoned with for Stevens Point. I think we're going to have a battle of the keepers here.
Yeah, and you look at it so far this season, he's made 8 saves. He only has 1 goal against throughout his first 4 games. So he has been a big part in helping the Pointers jump out to a 4-0 start.
As here's Kayla on the near side. He's looking to feed that ball up. Got a couple options running in, but that defender's lacking off just a touch. Kale cuts back in the middle. He tries to get a shot off with his right foot. That's going to be rejected. He takes another shot, and that's going to miss just wide on that far post. But some really good effort there from the freshman. Caleb Kale, he's a name that we're going to become familiar with today and throughout the season. A freshman from Moline, Illinois. He's been making waves here for the Cougars so far this season. Though he's not padded on the stat line, he's one of those key players that does these things to get these plays in motion, sending those ball in. We saw it right there. He was able to find space here on that near side of the field, being able to cut back in. He had options inside the box, and so far this season we've seen him take advantage of those options.
Yeah, he's a player where you don't understand the value of him if you just look at the stat sheet. You have to actually watch the tape and see what he brings to this Cougars team.
Absolutely. Kale, 4 recorded shots here on the season, but again, that's a lot more of that intangible touch that we've seen from that freshman so far. But here comes the Pointers. Got to throw in here on the near side. Sends that in. A high header inside the box. Nobody trailing on that back side, but able to settle it here as Sinise has that one stripped away. Now coming down, looking to get a shot off. Can't. That's blocked. A little back and forth here. That ball fed here on the near side to Joachimson. And that's going to be kicked away by the Cougars. Another throw in here for Stevens Point.
And it's interesting because Stevens Point, they're undefeated. They're 4-0 to start the season. They don't score a lot. They've scored a total of 7 goals in those 4 games. They're a team that very much relies on just getting 1 or 2 goals and then letting the defense be a brick wall.
Absolutely. And we're going to see this throw in here from Carter Smith. A lot of Pointers stacked in the box. We're looking for a deep throw here as he sends that one inside the box. A hot header up, flicked to that opposite side. No good. Ocampo able to bat it out. A little back and forth there as Joachimson lost it for a moment. Cougars able to get a touch on it, but the Pointers coming away with it.
That was a good stand by the Cougars D there right in front of the net. The Pointers had very good field possession, but the Cougars held them off.
And we're going to see another throw in here for Stevens Point. We're seeing this Pointers team really dominate on their offensive end here, as that's going to be a ball inside the middle coming down the top, and a shot off. No good there. Gutiel able to scoop that one up. Couldn't quite see who had that shot there, but a strong left-footed attempt. And that's going to put the first shot of the day up on the board for the Pointers.
Yeah, the Pointers were just trying to get a shot off there. It wasn't a great one. It was very much on the ground. Didn't have a whole lot of elevation. It was straight to Gutiel. But still, it was just the Pointers trying to find an avenue to break through the Cougars' defense.
Absolutely, as this one's dropped back here to Gutiel. He clears it out on that far side. Pointers able to take control of it here. Looking to feed it in the middle of the field. Dropping back here. Time to resettle, and that ball is going to be fed forward, and we're going to see the offside flag go up. Really great attempt there to send that ball up, but it looked like just barely broke before that last defender here for the Cougars.
Yeah, you could tell that the Pointers offenseman was really trying to keep in line, but when the ball broke, he saw an opportunity and just jumped the gun a little bit.
As this ball is batted around in the air before Sinise settles it down, it's going to be cleared out by the Pointers. Some numbers here in favor of the Cougars, but the Pointers coming down quickly, and that's going to be cleared out. Poking around here. Ocampo able to collect it in the midfield. And the Cougars having some momentum, but broken up here by the Pointers. Stevens Point dropping back. Sends that ball long up the field. That's going to be missed by Hernandez, but good recovery there to stop any momentum from Stevens Point. As we've got a long ball sent down now. Flag staying down. That's a great run here for the Pointers. Can they get this shot off before the defense settles? Sending it back out up top. Long ball in on that far side. And Joachimson's going to be called for offsides on that far side. Pointers really looking to attack in the air. They're sending a lot of those long balls down, and the Cougars are getting fortunate that the Pointers are breaking just a tad too soon, getting those offsides calls early here.
Yeah, the Pointers' strategy so far seems to be basically get the ball up in the air and have a streaking offenseman come inside and try to capitalize on the long pass, but so far it has not paid off.
Cougars now coming up the field looking to switch it. They do. Kale coming over, can't quite get that first touch. It's going to be broken up here. CUC taking possession once again. Velasquez looks to send it down near side flag, but just overshoots, trying to hit Juan Moresco here. That's going to be a throw-in for the Pointers.
Yeah, Moresco just sent a little bit too much behind that kick and ended up sailing it out and over the head.
Throw in here, missed everybody in the air, but that's going to give Connor Urban a chance to get a touch on it, and another throw in here for the Pointers.
Now we saw the Pointers had a throw in around a similar spot earlier in this game. They weren't able to capitalize then. They're attempting to fix that and capitalize now.
So we're seeing this long throw in once again from Smith. Looking inside the box here. As this throw's coming in, Velasquez able to get ahead on it, and that's going to be cleared out by Kale. Another throw in for the Pointers. Most likely looking at the same situation here. Smith making this throw in. We're seeing that stack in the box once again.
Pointers are hoping here that third time's the charm.
Cougar defense locking down as this ball is coming in. It's going to catch a couple different heads as a bicycle kick attempt on that far side. Initially batted around by Charlie McGinnis. He got the initial touch on it, batted around a little bit. I couldn't quite see who attempted that bicycle kick, but right into the hands of Gudioh.
That was a nice attempt on the bicycle, but like you said, it's straight into the goalie.
And Sinise coming down the field here. That's going to be broken up by Orline as he sends that one down. Still batting around in the air. Kale settles it. Velasquez dropping it back. Castaneda now dropping it back. Gudioh passing it forward here. Cougars looking to draw that Pointers offense down so they can create some space on the offensive end. We're seeing Stevens Point stay on top of the Cougars as they're trying to make some offensive bursts here. CUC doing a nice job trying to pull everybody back and clear some space, but Pointers just not biting.
Yeah, the Pointers are a very reserved team. They're not going to give the Cougars a whole lot of opportunities, like you said, to get that offense downfield and get a sustained momentum on the Pointer side.
We're going to see a throw in here for the Cougars. That ball sent forward. Stevens Point able to get the initial touch on it, batted around a little bit. Still no true control here. Sinise now with a touch. Kale running flag, can't quite get there. It's going to be sent into the box from Smith, and a deep, wide shot just goes high. I believe that was Connor Urban on the shot. Great attempt, but just couldn't get it on frame.
Yeah, Connor Urban is tied for most goals on the Pointers with two. Is trying to take sole possession of that award so far, but just put a little too much behind it and just rocketed it through the uprights.
Connor Urban, you mentioned it, tied for most goals here this season so far, but he's been a force to be reckoned with for this Stevens Point offense last season, all WEAC first team. So we've seen him be influential for Stevens Point, and he's taken advantage of the opportunities he's seeing here today. Cougars feed that ball up. Sinise can't quite get a clean touch on that. He's going to be pushed around a little bit, and it looks like they are going to get the free kick from it. Sinise on the ground. CUC with an opportunity.
First foul of the day. A little bit interesting considering both of these teams are relatively physical teams, and we haven't seen a foul for about the first 12 minutes of play.
As that ball is going to be dropped back here to the Cougars' back line. Looking to send forward. Velasquez with the touch. Batted back and forth in the air, and that's going to be a throw in here for the Cougars.
Now the Cougs are in a pretty decent position, relatively far down on the Pointers side of the field.
First time we've seen the Cougars with some good opportunities in some set pieces here on their offensive end. We've seen some good bursts, some good runs being made, but Cougars really taking their time here. They have the opportunity to get settled, figure out where they want to be, and strategically place this ball.
Yeah, they have a prime opportunity here to kind of game plan a little bit and try to see if they can be the first ones on the scoreboard.
We're looking for a deep throw in here. Cougars stacking in the box now. As that ball is in, Castaneda can't quite get control of it. Cougars keeping it. Hernandez up top. That's going to be stripped away on the far side. Here come the Pointers. Hernandez trying to poke it out. Can't quite get control of it. Going coast to coast here. And unable to get anything from it. We're going to see a corner kick here for the Pointers. Some great bursts there from Stevens Point. I believe that was Connor Urban once again.
Yeah, Urban got the ball from the Cougs and was just running down the field, trying to go coast to coast with it. but the Cougars D, like you said, was able to prevent a shot, although now the Pointers do have a corner kick.
Excuse me, I believe that was Devin Wilkerson making that run on that far side, able to get into position here. Now we're going to see the first corner kick of the day. Pointers up, batted around a little bit. Opportunity there, still ball out. Looks like there was a bit of a collision with Gudiel.
Yeah, it looked like at one point Gudiel and a member of the Pointers kind of went, they both tried to head the ball at the same time and instead just head-butted each other.
Corner kick not resulting in anything here for the Pointers. Cougars maintain possession here as Gudiel sends that one forward. This ball sent forward now. And that's going to be cleared away by the Cougars.
Been a strong defensive battle so far here in the first 15 minutes. Both teams have been doing a very bend, not break defense. Pointers have been testing the Cougars defense a little bit more.
This one still bouncing around. It's going to be cleared out by Ocampo. Sent right back down, but just over the head of Urban. Gudiel now drop kicks this one. And we're going to see a free kick here for the Pointers. A little bit of a collision there with Bernardo Delgado. This one sent on the far side there, able to connect and get a touch on it. Here's Wilkerson. He sends one in with his left foot, but can't quite get there. On the backside of the net, looks like it was deflected, so it's going to be another corner here for the Pointers.
And the Pointers have had now several opportunities down here, either corner kicks or throw-ins right by the Cougars goal, but they haven't been able to make anything of them yet. The Cougars defense and Gudiel in goal has done a very good job of keeping the Pointers out of the goal.
Marcelo Chavez now taking this corner here for the Pointers. This one up and able to get a head on it was Keegan Frederick, but couldn't quite get that on frame.
And again, the Cougars defense makes their stand. They keep this a 0-0 game, and now Gudiel tries to flip the field.
Pointers get the first touch on it. Urban can't get the second. Moresco now here on the near side. Little give and go there from Kale to Moresco, can't connect. Pointers now. Here's Urban. Crossing to the middle of the field. And a deep shot there from Keegan Frederick. From about the 25-yard line. So a deep, deep shot there. Just couldn't quite get it on frame, but he had plenty of space to be able to take that opportunity for the shot.
Yeah, Frederick had it. He was in a good position to try to take the long shot. Instead, he just ended up rocking it, kicked it so hard, it ended up bouncing over the side of the track.
Here's Urban now. 3 Cougars can't quite steal that ball from him. Frederick, little give and go here, broken up by the Cougar back line. Ocampo now. This one dropped all the way back to Gudiel. Here on the near side, it's Castaneda. Sinise lets that one get past him. Looks to keep the touch, and he does keep that ball in, waiting for some Cougars to find their way into the box. He's taking it here, the left side, the left foot, trying to get that cross in. Ocampo coming away with it, but it's going to be poked away. Kale now has it. Drops it back to Velasquez. Cougars looking to resettle here. Great opportunity here from CUC on the attacking end. Couldn't quite get the look they were looking for, but able to resettle things, get situated, and look to try again.
Yeah, Sinise was trying to come up that near side here. He was trying to get it to one of the two Cougars that were in front of the goal, but wasn't able to do so. But still, like you said, the Cougars maintain possession. They still have the ball and an opportunity to try to see if they can convert.
Here's Castaneda to Kale. Dropping all the way back to Gutiel. And we're going to see that free kick here for the Cougars. Great opportunity for CUC on their attacking end.
Yeah, CUC has a good chance here on the Pointer side of the field. If they can just get the ball in cleanly, try to string together a few good passes, they can move the ball just right in front of the goal like that.
Ocampo here taking the free kick. Cougars lining up just outside the box. That ball sent in, and no Cougars able to get a touch on it, but able to recover it afterwards. Sinise on the far side. Great takeaway there from the Pointers, and that's going to be a throw in here for CUC.
And this is a great spot for the Cougars to be in. It's not quite a corner kick, but it's a very deep throw in. If they want to, they can choose to stack the box like they've seen the Pointers do and try to see if they can actually get the ball into the back of the net first.
Velasquez taking this throw in. Sends it in, and it's going to be heading back down the other way. Havlik taking this kick here.
So again, Cougs had a good opportunity but weren't able to make anything of it. And this stays knotted at 0-0.
Here on the near side, it's Kale. Poked away there for a second by Smith, but Cougars taking the throw in here. This one's going to be sent down. Vincent Bianco now with the ball, sends it back in for Urban. Has that poked away. Bianco cleared out by Velasquez. We're going to see a throw in here for the Pointers. But with that, we're going to see our first substitutions of the day for Stevens Point. Some fresh legs coming in for the Pointers. Looks like we're going to have number 7, Jackson Buckley, coming in here on this front line. And number 23, Noah Johnson, coming in. As this ball is batted around, McGinnis gets taken out by Sinise. It's going to be a free kick here for the Pointers.
Sinise in a little bit of disbelief there. He thought that it was all ball on his block, but referee says otherwise, and now the Pointers have a nice position for a free kick.
Dangerous spot for the Pointers to be in here. We've seen them rip a couple shots from this far out already. Now having a set piece from here. Not a favorable spot for CUC to be in. As this ball is up, it's going to be batted down by Ocampo. Cleared out by Delgado. But the Pointers keep possession. That ball is sent down to Buckley in the corner. Buckley cuts back, sends it in with his left foot. Looks like he was just trying to catch that inside look there. I believe it was Johnson making that run in. But Gutiel able to come out and scoop it up. A really nice look in, feed in from his left foot there, but just couldn't quite connect.
Yeah, the Pointers, again, had a good opportunity, but Gutiel was able to get in the middle and break up what looked like that pass dump and make sure that the Pointers weren't able to even get a shot off.
Throw in here for CUC, sends that downfield. Pointers get a touch on it first, batted around in the air, 3 consecutive headers. This one's going to be sent down, but no Pointers there to quite break where necessary, so Gutiel able to collect it with ease.
And it seems like the trend of this game is when we spend a few minutes on the Cougar side of the field, a few minutes on the Pointer side of the field, and then back and forth with neither team able so far to really break through.
Yeah, and we're seeing really good efforts on both sides of the field. Great runs from both teams and some great opportunities that just aren't quite connecting. But, Eric, I feel we have an evenly matched game so far here in River Forest.
Yeah, so far it looks like these teams are about equal on the skill level. Neither team has given the other an inch.
Little collision down there, but that's going to be kept alive by the Pointers. Really good efforts from the Cougars. Looks like Sinise was trying to get that ball off of his right foot, trying to feed that ball inside the box, but lockdown at defense from the Pointers created a brick wall, just could not get through. Now we're on the other end of the field. We're going to see a Pointers throw in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, the Pointers just flipped the field like that. Cougars right in the goal, but now the Pointers, they're down deep on the Cougars side. They're trying to see if they can establish a bit of a presence here in front of the Cougars goal.
Seeing another long throw in from the Pointers. And Velasquez able to get the first touch on it. Batted around. Looked like Jet Orline was able to get that flick over there, but Gutiel able to pick it up once again. Under 20 minutes to play here in half number 1. Still sitting scoreless, but it's been an exciting half so far if you're just now joining us. Pointers and Cougars going back and forth, seeing some really good efforts here as Stevens Point looks to make a run here. A little give and go. And nobody quite running flag, but we're seeing that far side attempt. Looks like Jesus Badillo did not think that there was going to be an offender running down on that near side. And just like that, the Pointers had an opportunity, taking advantage of a sleeping Cougar defense.
And again, the Cougars lucky that they had a bit of a miscue there, but they were able to make up for it and clear the ball out, make it so that now Pointers have a deep throw in. And again, the story of this game so far has been the team's defenses have bent heavily, but they haven't broken quite yet.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it, another deep throw in. The Pointers really taking advantage of their space on their attacking end. I mean, this is a deep throw and looking to send that ball all the way into the box, and they do as the header is up. Gutiel coming out, but that header is going to go into the back of the net from Connor Urban. Puts the first goal on the board for the Pointers.
That deep throw in for the Pointers hadn't worked so far, but they were able to make it work that time. The ball bounced straight into the head of Connor Urban, and he headed it right into the back of the net.
Looks like there's a couple of Cougars on the ground, a bit of a collision in the process, but like I mentioned, Connor Urban getting up there in the air and able to put that thing into the back of the net. We talked about him already, Eric, but he's been a force to be reckoned with for this Pointers squad this season. This makes goal number 3 on the season for the sophomore. He's leading this team, and we're seeing that here today.
Yeah, he's already had a few opportunities earlier in the game down in front of the Cougars goal that he just wasn't able to quite center, but that time he was in the right place, right time, put the throw in right into the back of the net to give the Pointers the early lead.
And we got to give credit to that deep throw in as well. We were already talking about it when it happened, but seeing that consistent work from the Pointers, they've been attempting that every time they're getting these throw-ins from even the 30-yard line here, Eric. We're seeing them try to send that ball inside the box, and we've seen them get there, we've seen them miss it, and this time it was just able to connect, but it starts with that initial throw-in.
Yeah, like you said, the Pointers had tried that several times so far, but they weren't able to make anything of it. That time they had a really strong throw-in, and then they got the offensive players of the Pointers were just in the right spot so that the throw-in was able to go right off the head of Charlie McGinnis, right off the head of Connor Urban, and then into the back of the net. So Pointers showing that perseverance on that type of play does eventually pay off.
Absolutely, and seeing Nathan Goodiel back up and moving for CUC, always something that you enjoy seeing. Obviously, a little bit of a collision there that resulted in the goal for the Pointers, but Goodiel up on his feet, remaining in the game in the net for CUC. So back underway here. Just under 18 minutes to play, and the Pointers have officially taken the lead as Castaneda almost got burned there once again. The Pointers are going to be aggressive here. They're not going to let the Cougars get lazy on defense, as we've seen them take advantage of it a couple times already. And here's another situation. Castaneda, no communication from anybody behind him telling him that he's got two defenders on his trail, and he loses that ball here just because the Pointers are staying aggressive.
Yeah, Castaneda, like you said, has been caught sleeping a few times. Doesn't want to get caught again. Doesn't want to be responsible, at least partially, for another Stevens Point goal.
Pointers seem a little bit more fired up after scoring their first goal of the day than they did to start the game. I'm seeing some new energy here, some new life. They are attacking fast as this ball is coming in off the left side and just misses. A great attempt there. Goodiel diving. That ball's still in play. Cougars once again able to get a touch on it. And the Pointers coming back down. This ball sent inside, but that flag's going to go up. The offside call there on Noah Johnson.
Johnson was right there. He had the jump. Unfortunately, just jumped a little bit too much and got in front of the Cougars defender. So for now, Stevens Point not able to add to their lead.
CUC, a key here in this game is going to be staying in it. We were already talking about falling a little bit behind on the defensive end and not letting the Pointers take advantage of that, but obviously trailing here 1-0 in the first half, can't fall behind even further. Can't give up and have to keep fighting through, and we're seeing that here in the midfield, but it's really going to come down to that. If they can stay in this game, a 1-0 game is anybody's game, and seeing the Cougars keep pushing on is going to be key.
Yeah, and especially because it's still really early. We still have 16 minutes in the first half. There's plenty of time for the Cougars to make up a one-goal deficit.
As this ball misses here, it's going to be dropped back by Castaneda.
And you mentioned that the Pointers seem a little bit more fired up now. It could be that, they were trying for 27-ish minutes to find the back of the net. They were having no luck, no success, but then finally they got one there. It's like, all right, we know that we can score on them. Now we just got to do exactly what we did again, and we know that we're capable of it.
Cougars coming down on their attacking end. Sinise now just outside the box. He takes a shot with his left foot, and that's going to go into the back of the net. Michael Sinise with a rocket of a shot off of his left foot. Little curl there. In disbelief that ball went in is Jacob Havlick. I'm almost the same way. That ball seemed like it had no shot at going in, the way that Sinise was off balance mid-turn, and oh my goodness, someone call ESPN.
That was an incredible shot from Sinise. Like you said, he was off balance. It just turned. Didn't seem like it had an angle. Instead, he sent a missile into the top right corner of the net past Jacob Havlick, and Cougars respond quickly to that Stevens Point goal. They tie it back up at 1.
Eric, we were discussing this, that a 1-0 game is anybody's game, and the Cougars needed to stay in it and keep attacking and keep fighting, and that's exactly what they did. They stayed in it, and they took advantage of that burst of energy that they were feeling from the Pointers as well, and Sinise just continuing to attack and take advantage. Him picking up his 4th goal of the season. Michael Sinise had 3 goals last season. He co-led the team with 3 goals last season. He surpassed that here in game number 5. Still a lot of time left for this for this sophomore to keep things rolling, but we're seeing a lot of improvements from his freshman to sophomore campaign.
Yeah, and you know that the Cougars love to see that. Like you said, co-led the team in goals last year, but he's already scored more than that this season. He's on a great pace. and he's been a big moment player for the Cougs. He had a trio of goals in their game against Andrews last week, and now he's able to get the big goal here to tie the game back up at 1 and make it just the second goal against Jacob Havlick this season.
And we're seeing a little bit of a break here as it appears Juan Maresco now down with an injury. CUC athletic trainer out on the field checking him out. We're going to see him stepping off the field, which means we will be getting a sub in just a moment. But either way, I mean, riding this momentum, we saw the Pointers come out after they scored a goal with some intensity. We saw them come out with some energy that we hadn't seen yet in this game. CUC taking advantage of that, equalizing, and now we're going to see both of these teams continue to step that energy up step by step.
Yeah, and with the Cougars scoring that goal, that also just cuts the Stevens Point momentum in half. They were feeling good. They had the lead. Now the Cougs just put the kibosh on that, tied it back up.
And we're going to see a throw in here for the Cougars.
Interesting strategy from the Pointers to just take a really deep kick off the intro kick and just make it so that the Cougars now have to throw it deep in front of their own net.
As one of those substitutions made after that goal, I believe coming in for Maresco is number 20, Roman Klozik for CUC. As here's Delgado, has that one stripped away, cleared out by Ocampo. But that's going to be a throw in here for the Pointers.
And we saw the Pointers have success with a deep throw in earlier. That's how they got on the board. They're trying to see if they can replicate that success here and retake the lead from the Cougars.
Pointers now with the throw-in. Some dangerous territory here as we've seen how much they enjoy this deep throw-in, trying to get that ball inside the box, looking on that near side here. That's going to be popped up, coming in and chasing it. A little bit of a collision there, but the Cougars have some momentum. Delgado, he's got one in front of him, two trailing behind. He's going to slow up. He's going to look to send that ball, and he's going to cross that. Looks like Badillo can't quite control it. Ocampo sends one deep from midfield, and that's going to go through the uprights, but some really great momentum there for the Cougars.
Yeah, Badillo saw that ball off the ricochet, and he saw that he had an opportunity with some space in front of him to send a shot off. Fortunately for him, just put a little bit too much juice behind it. But, yeah, you can feel that the energy is very much moved to the Cougars side now.
This ball in the air in the midfield, poking around. Eric, we already talked about it, but we're seeing it early here. Some new energy from both of these teams. Looks like both sides of the field have revitalized and looking to capitalize. Here's that ball sent in. Here on the opposite side, able to get a head on it was Jackson Buckley, but they are going to say that ball was out. So a goal kick here for the Cougars.
And it's basically like this game's at 0-0 again. Now both teams, again, trying to get the lead. Stevens Point trying to take back the lead, and the Cougs trying to get their first lead of the game. And now Cougs are hoping that Gudiola can flip the field and get the Cougs back on the Pointers side of it.
As here comes Buckley. He's on his own. Nobody trailing quite yet, and that's going to be a corner kick here for the Pointers.
Pointers have had 2 corner kicks already. Didn't lead to anything, but they're hoping that now that they're back here deep on the Cougar side of the field, that corner kick number 3, third time's the charm.
And looking like Cameron Jochimson's going to be taking this corner here on the near side. This ball is up, looking to bat it around, and the header coming in from Buckley finds the back of the net, and the Pointers go up 2-1.
Gudiola tried to grab that ball out of the air, but just missed it, and as a result, Buckley was able to put it off his head into the back of the net, and just like that, again, the Pointers retake the lead.
Stevens Point taking advantage of their height advantage, winning balls in the air and finding the back of the net. Already here, taking that 2-1 lead with just under 12 minutes to play. Buckley picking up his second goal of the season. A big-time goal for the freshman from Michigan.
Yeah, Buckley was just in the perfect spot. The corner kick paid off like the Pointers were hoping for, and Buckley made Gutiel pay for missing it and was just able to put it right in the back of the net.
CUC looking to equalize once again, as that's going to be booted out by Smith. A throw in here for the Cougars.
Now again, Cougars quickly flip the field. They're deep with an opportunity to maybe tie this game up again.
Velasquez taking this throw in here. He's going to send this one into the box, but just a bit too far. Two Cougars jumping up, can't quite get a touch, and it's going to head straight out of play. Goal kick here for the Pointers.
And Velasquez was trying to get to one of the two Cougs down and see if they could turn the angle and get a shot off, but the throw-in a little bit too high, overshot everybody.
Havlik kicks this one well downfield. Pointers get the first touch, winning it in the air. Klosick trying to control it. Kale taking a nice read on it. Great defense there from Carter Smith. Pokes it out of bounds. It's going to be a throw in here for the Cougars. Klosick now taking the throw in. Klosick sends it deep. Looking for Badillo, but can't quite connect. But another throw in here for CUC. Going to see some subs coming in before that. Some subs for both teams.
Both teams bring in a few fresh legs as we now just have 10 minutes left here in the first half. And they're both sides hoping that they can get a little bit of a burst of energy to either, if you're Stevens Point, increase the lead, or if you're the Cougars, tie the game back up.
Coming in for the Pointers, number 68, Christopher Ruiz. As that ball has an opportunity here for the Pointers. Klosick able to get a touch on it. Similar situation to what we were talking about before we continue with those substitutions, Eric. Seemingly, CUC had the opportunity, or had the advantage there. 3 Cougars to the 1 Pointer, but Stevens Point, they're going to continue to attack, and they're going to make those some scary opportunities. CUC gets caught taking just an extra step back, and they're going to attack, and that's exactly what happened there. Klosick having to just clear it out and prevent any goal-scoring opportunities there. As that ball is cleared away, Delgado now with it.
Yeah, going back to what you said, the Pointers aren't afraid if they're running into a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1. They're going to see if they can catch the Cougars just napping a little bit and make them pay for it.
Circling back to the rest of those substitutions that came in for Stevens Point. Coming in, number 26, Caden Vanderweel. And the lone substitution for the Cougars, number 4, Matias Zagara. Here's Ocampo coming down, plenty of space. He feeds it up to Sinise. Sinise sends it in, cuts back with his right foot, can't quite get it off, but that's going to be a corner kick here for CUC.
Sinise wasn't able to cut back and find an angle for a pass or a shot there, but it's all right for the Cougs. Like you said, they now have a corner kick, have potential to knot this game back up at 2.
Delgado coming over to take the corner kick on the near side. Cougars stacking just outside the box.
Instead of going for a header this time, might be looking for possession, then a kick.
Ball is up, batted around a little bit, still around. Ball loose, looked like it came off the foot of Ocampo. Batted away. Delgado sends it across, can't quite connect. Sinise not giving up. He's going to get a touch on it. Steals possession right back. Hernandez to Sinise. Sinise sends it in. Batted away by the Pointers. Really good efforts there from CUC. As Gutiel comes out to clear that out. Buckley coming in quick on it. Here's Ruiz. Cutting back. And a little bit too much extracurriculars there from Caleb Kale. It's going to give a free kick to the Pointers.
And the Pointers didn't waste a second. Once they cleared the ball from their side of the field, they were off to the races trying to get down in front of the Cougars' goal, and they've been rewarded with a free kick as a result.
Under 7 minutes to play here in the first half. The free kick sitting just along the 25-yard line you see on your screens. Referee going to check the distance here, potentially move the CUC wall back a touch. But the Cougars in perfect position. Pointers lined up just outside the box. Kick from Ruiz. Batted around. It's going to be a corner kick for the Pointers.
Pointers tried to pull a little bit of trickery on that one, but the Cougars were able to get in front of it. Unfortunately, accidentally sent it out the back. So now, like you said, the Pointers' opportunity, they were able to get a goal on their last corner kick. See if they can convert on this one.
Going to see some substitutions here on both sides, most notably for the Cougars. Michael Sinise coming out of the game. Coming in his place, number 3, Michael Figueroa. So goal scorer here for CUC, now out for the rest of the half, as it's going to be a free kick here for the Cougars. High kick from the Pointers. It's going to eradicate that opportunity for them.
And a good defensive stand there by the Cougs. Keep it so that the Pointers weren't able to increase their lead, and now see if the Cougars can try to get the ball down the field and maybe score in the last 5 minutes of this half.
As this ball sent down, collecting it is Orline. He's going to send it up. Castaneda settling. Ruiz with the pressure. Little back and forth here. Exchange in the midfield. But that's going to be a free kick here for the Cougars. I believe it was Velasquez that ended up on the ground in that situation.
Cougs marching the ball right down the field. They've been able to find the back of the goal once so far. They're trying to see if they can do it again here, get the momentum fully on their side heading into the half.
Pointers get the first touch on it. Cougars get the second. Still batting around in the air, settled on the ground, and the CUC Cougars have it. Ball's going to be sent on that far side. Pointers able to keep it in, send it back in their direction. Ocampo now here for Hernandez. It's going to be a throw-in for the Pointers in the midfield. Arguably, this is the best place for the Pointers to have a throw-in. If you're a CUC fan, you don't want them any closer in their attacking end because they're able to take advantage of those deep throw-ins as we've seen so far today. This one able to cut in. Klosick trying to clear it out. Can't get a clean kick on it. A little back and forth here, but momentum here on the near side. Shot blocked. Great effort there from Gudioh. Pointers keeping possession here. I believe the shot was Orline. No, excuse me, Frederick. But great goalkeeping there from Gudioh, able to get a foot on it and prevent that goal here with just under 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, that was a fantastic stop by Gudioh. He was just able to extend his right leg out far enough that it got in the path of the ball and blocked it and kept the Pointers from scoring again and kept Frederick from finding the back of the net.
Cougars now coming downfield, but the Pointers going to break that one up. Delgado on that far side, and that's going to be a throw in for Stevens Point. CUC coming down now. Dropping back here to Castaneda. He's coming up in the midfield. Looked to connect to Velasquez. Velasquez gave up on it, but able to keep it in on that far side. I believe it was Figueroa. No, excuse me, I believe it was Hernandez. And that's going to be a free kick here for the Cougars. A little bit of extracurriculars from Vanderweel. Caleb going down on that. That gives CUC an opportunity here with under 2 minutes to play in the half. Castaneda here with the free kick.
This is a very good spot for the Cougars to be in. They're trying to get the momentum back on their side heading into the halftime break.
This ball is up. Can't quite connect with it. The Pointers now have it. Coming on that far side. Lots of options here. Sends that ball up, connects. One more over. Ruiz can't get a good touch on it. It's going to be batted away by the Cougars. Really great opportunity from the Pointers. Really great defense from the Cougars to break it up.
Yeah, Pointers were in prime position to get a shot off, but instead the Cougars defense were able to just clamp onto them, make it so that they weren't able to, and again, get the ball back into a Cougar possession.
Velasquez here, under a minute now. Pointers sending the ball down, able to connect, some space, sends it forward. Ruiz with a one touch on that far side. A great opportunity here. The left foot in. Ruiz just missing on that backside. That's going to be a goal kick for the Cougars. Just off by a step. If Ruiz was able to get a touch on that, that would have been a dangerous, dangerous spot.
Yeah, it looked like Ruiz was tried to get the ball. It would have been basically a 2-on-1 against the goalie, but luckily for the Cougs, wasn't able to do so. And so the odds are this will remain a 2-1 Pointers lead going into the half.
Gudil taking his time, 10 seconds here. This ball sent forward, and that's going to do it for the half. Eric, you are correct. A 2-1 lead in favor of Stevens Point. But it has been an exciting match thus far. A back-and-forth battle between these two teams, and it's been fairly evenly paired. We've seen it with strong possession for the Cougars. We've seen it with strong possession for the Pointers, and we've seen a lot of good runs on both sides of the field.
Yeah, both sides have had opportunities to score and have had chances where it looked like they were going to, but the defenses on each side have been able to do a good job of just clamping down and make it so that the Pointers have only been able to get 2 so far, and the Cougars have only been able to get 1.
So as we head into the halftime, goal scorers for Stevens Point in Connor Urban and Jackson Buckley. And CUC, the lone goal scorer so far is Michael Sinise. But we're going to take a quick break right here on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll see you back here in just about 15 minutes. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network for half number 2 of today's men's soccer matchup. Kayla McLeod here, joined by Eric Perry. Eric, we have had ourselves a game so far today.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting game. Saw a total of 3 goals scored in the first half, 2 by the Pointers, 1 by the Cougs. And even when there weren't goals being scored, it was still a very competitive game. Both teams making deep runs to the opponent's goal, and ultimately it was the Pointers that were able to get 2 on the board.
Absolutely. It's been a fairly evenly matched game. If you look at the breakdown of the box score, Pointers 10 total shots to the Cougars 5, but only 5 of those shots have been on goal. 2 shots on goal for the Cougars. CUC with 3 saves on the day compared to the Pointers 1. But the big number here has been the number of corners, as the Pointers have had 4 corner kicks to CUC's 1, and we've seen them capitalize on that and putting some goals on the board in the air.
Yeah, like you said, they were able to use that fourth corner kick to get up and get a header off and get it into the back of the net, and that's what gave them that second goal and got them the lead back.
And looking at these lineups here for the second half, mostly the same lineup, but most notable here for CUC, we've got a new goalkeeper in. Stepping into the goal for the Cougars, number 34, Kyle Schultz. Kyle, a senior out of Pingree Grove, Illinois. We saw him make the first start on game number 1 of the season, but that's been the only appearance that we've seen him in so far today. So Schultz, an experienced goalkeeper, looking to continue to make this a competitive game.
And you wonder with Schultz being in goal how much that has to do with the nasty headbutt that Nathan Gudioh took with about 10 minutes left in the first half.
Absolutely. Obviously, Gudioh done a nice job in the goal, giving up 2 goals, but they were great goals from the Pointers, and he had 3 incredible saves that have really kept the Cougars in this game. So not something that you want to see when you see that goalkeeper switch, especially when it can be due to injury. But having a new goalkeeper that's as experienced as Kyle Schultz is coming in makes you feel safe in that decision. Pointers looking to defend here quickly. The Cougars trying to take control in the second half. Ball's bouncing around a little bit. Ocampo pops it back, and that's going to be sent deep. Delgado flicks it here on the near side, but Dio can't get a touch on it. Jumping up is Joachimson, and he's able to control it here for the Pointers. Urban coming down, he feeds it up this near side. Looking to get a touch is Wilkerson, and he does. Keeps it in right here on this near side. One-on-one, it's going to be broken up by Hernandez, but Wilkerson able to get it in, and the goal is scored! The feed in from Wilkerson. Catch is the foot there, and a big-time goal for the Pointers right away. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, in the first half, it took the Pointers 28 minutes to score. Here in the second half, it took them 124 to score, and that was just a great pass off Wilkerson right to the foot of Noah Johnson, and the Pointers waste no time increasing their lead.
Johnson doing it here in the second half, starting things out with a bang for Stevens Point. A fantastic goal puts them up 3-1 with still 43 minutes to play here in the game.
Yeah, there was absolutely no time wasted with that. The second Stevens Point got the ball off their half of the field, Wilkerson just took it pretty much coast to coast and then found a streaking Johnson who put it right off his foot into the back of the net.
Cougars now trailing 3-1 in a bit of a different situation, trying to come out with some intensity and not let this get too far out of reach. Here's Hernandez.
It's a big difference from making up a 1-goal deficit and making up a 2-goal deficit.
Pointers coming down now. Ball fed forward. Chasing in is Johnson. Going to be a free kick here for the Cougars. Johnson picking up his first goal of the season here in River Forest. Junior out of Minnesota making a statement to start the second half. Cougars Now scrambling. Here's Kale.
Yeah, Cougars now just trying to get an answer on offense, see if they can make up at least one of the goals here in relatively quick time.
Looking to switch here, sends it up. Can't quite connect with Ocampo. That's going to be batted away. A nice slide tackle there from Hernandez. Cougars coming away with it. Stevens Point, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the broadcast. They're starting off this season 4-0. They've played a handful of NAC teams, so fellow conference mates for the Cougars in Lakeland, Edgewood, and St. Norbert. And starting this season on a 4-0 stretch is a very impressive feat for this team specifically. They finished fifth in the WEAC last year. They had an 8-4 total record. But most importantly, Eric, and something that we haven't quite talked about yet, this is still a relatively new program. Only in their second year of competition, and they're already starting off the season like this.
Yeah, and to even finish 8-4 last year in your first season as a team is fantastic. But to start your sophomore season off 4-0 with the potential to go 5-0 is very impressive indeed.
And a lot of that credit has to go to head coach of the Pointers in Jordan Kaiser. You know, his first head coaching job here with Stevens Point, but he spent a really successful season with Loras College as the assistant for the men and women's program. And now he's proven to do that here with the Pointers themselves. Cougars now coming down the field. Sinise over to Ocampo. Pointers now taking it back, sends it downfield, but a little bit of miscommunication there as Stevens Point was not in a position to make a run. So that's just going to be right at the foot of Schultz. Sinise gets one touch on it, batted around a little bit. Keeping control, he's going to drop it back. Castaneda back to Sinise. Switching it over here to Gutierrez. Hernandez here on the near side. Challenged by Wilkerson. Little give and go action here, and that's going to go just out. Great opportunity there for the Cougars, just couldn't quite keep it in play.
Yeah, Cougs tried to turn the ball and try to come up this near side, but that pass was just a little bit too far. Cougs weren't able to corral it in time.
Throw in here. Going to be another throw in for the Pointers. Looks like Cameron Jochimson's going to be taking this one. Slowly marching their way down the field. This one in. Going to be another throw in here for the Pointers. Making their way even further downfield. New arms coming here to take this throw in.
We've seen the Pointers utilize that deep throw in to very good effect. It's how they got their first goal of the day. Stacking the box again.
Absolutely, this is a dangerous spot to be in. Smith taking this throw in. He sends it deep into the box. Up, batted around, batted away. Schultz gets a hand on it. Still live on the ground. And able to collect it. A dangerous spot to be in for the Cougars. I believe it was Wilkerson on that far side that, as that ball was still being batted around, kind of snuck up with the opportunity, but Schultz was able to collect it and prevent that goal-scoring chance there. But, Eric, we've been speaking on it all day, but those throw-ins deep inside that box is going to be exactly what the Pointers are going to continue to attack.
Yeah, and when it's paid dividends like it has so far, it makes sense for them to just keep going to it.
Cougars now on their offensive side of the field. Klozik drops it back. Velasquez can't quite get a touch on it. Ocampo coming up, but that's going to be a clean slide tackle there. And the Pointers now running downfield. Wilkerson drops it back here. Chavez with some space, a little give and go here. Looking on that far side, able to collect it is Jochimson. Trying to get it off. Coming in, Shot with his left foot, blocked by Kyle Schultz, and that's cleared out by the Cougars. Really great opportunity there from Cameron Jochimson, coming all the way downfield on that far side, cutting in. He had the opportunity to take that first left-footed shot after he turned that corner, and instead sat with it, settled, and now the Pointers are in their favorite position. Sinise able to poke that ball out. Badillo clears it out. Two Cougars moving into the same space. Delgado with it now. Delgado up for Kale. Nobody trailing inside the box. Kale's on his own. Can't quite get through the two defenders there. CUC finally back here for some support. Drops it back to Klozik. Klozik sends it over to Velasquez. Velasquez can't get a clean touch on it. That's going to send things down the other direction.
And Kale did a good job just going all the way down the field, getting to that far side of the Pointers' goal. But unfortunately for him, he was blocked from getting a good shot off, and there were no other Cougars for him to get a quick pass to. So it forced him and the Cougs to do a reset.
Absolutely. It's great effort there from the freshman for the CUC squad. CUC trying to take advantage and finding some young talent, and Caleb Kale is just that. We've seen him so far this season. We mentioned him in the first half, not necessarily what you're looking for on the stat sheet, but he's doing those intangibles exactly like we saw there. He's making those runs and doing the things that are getting things in motion and pulling the rest of the Cougar offense to get into that position. So really great effort from the freshman as CUC is now coming upfield. Switches it here on the near side for Hernandez. Drops it back. Here's Velasquez. Little give and go from Ocampo, goes right to the foot of Bianco. Pointers now have an opportunity here. A one-touch from Smith. Smith blocking that pass, and it's going to stay with the Pointers. Bianco coming down, lots of space, lots of Cougar defenders. And Velasquez able to clear that one out. Ocampo here on the near side. Throw in for CUC.
CUC doing a good job there of stopping Stevens Point from getting deep in their territory. Now just need to move the ball into Stevens Point side of the field.
Ocampo here can't quite control it. Bianco now with it for the Pointers. He's going to send it near side. A great run here from Wilkerson. Contained by Hernandez. Wilkerson turning that corner. He's going to find Urban. Urban now at the top of the key. Can't quite connect. Cougars get a foot on it, and they're going to break that up. CUC coming down quick. Ocampo over to Sinise. Sinise letting that one go past him. Gets that touch. Lets the rest of his offense catch up. That's going to be a throw-in on the far side for the Cougars.
That was a very good defensive stand we just saw by the Cougars, making it so that Stevens Point weren't even able to get a shot off and poking the ball away, so that the Cougs were then able to turn up field and get it so that they have a throw-in deep on the Pointers side.
Seeing some substitutions coming in here for the Pointers. Notably, we are seeing Devin Wilkerson coming off the field for Stevens Point. He was instrumental in that goal that they put up in this half. So looking for some fresh legs here up front for the Pointers. But CUC looking to attack here. Ocampo sends it up for Urban. Cougars able to steal this one back. Ocampo cutting middle. It's going to be broken up there. Buckley having some space on the far side. Can't quite control that touch. Tries to clear out from the Cougars, but ultimately Schultz able to come in and scoop it up. Cougars controlling the tempo here. Stevens Point really trying to speed this game up. They're really looking to attack every opportunity they can. They're trying to take advantage of the Cougars falling a little bit asleep, as we talked about in the first half. And CUC not letting that happen. They're controlling this tempo. They're controlling the pace. They're saying, hey, we're playing here on our turf. You're going to play our style of soccer. And they're slowing things down. And I think that that's exactly what's jamming up the Pointers.
Yeah, we've seen that the Pointers have been at their best when they can just really just get the ball and go. And like you said, it's a good play by the Cougs to instead slow the pace down, make it so that the Pointers don't have any chances to really just turn on the Jets.
As we're going to see a throw in here from Smith. A little bit too far out for them to make a play inside the box. We're seeing another substitution there on that far side. Looks like some fresh legs coming into the box for the Pointers. And that's going to be a throw in for CUC.
Pointers weren't able to control it right down there on the corner of the field, and instead Cougars now get the ball back, have a chance to try to get it off their side of the field.
A flick inside, Buckley, little give and go there to Morosky, but cleared out. Hernandez here, finding some space. Sinise here on the near side. He gets a touch on. He's going to be able to turn that corner. Can he keep that in play? He does. Sinise cutting in, but that's going to be poked away by Jet Orline. Great defense from the Pointers. Michael Sinise working all by himself, and he's able to translate that into something great for CUC.
Yeah, Sinise was the lone man down there for the Cougs, pushing the pace. Orla did a good job of getting the ball out, but as a result, the Cougs now have a corner kick and have a very nice position.
Delgado taking the corner here on the near side. This ball is going to be poked away by the Pointers. Ocampo, he's going to take a kick at that, and that's going to go just wide and high. So a goal kick now for the Pointers, but really great opportunities here that we've seen so far. CUC not necessarily finding corner kicks or finding these shots as often as the Pointers are, but when they get into these positions, they're taking quality shots. They're finding these right runs to be making.
Yeah, that was a good corner for the Cougs. Unfortunately for them, Stevens Point was just able to step in front of it and block the ball, but nonetheless, it was a very good play that was made by the Cougs.
Little attempt there from the Pointers, but slowed down. Velasquez flipping it back to the Cougar side of the field. Ocampo now kicks it over to Badillo. Badillo, here's Delgado. Cutting middle. Drops it back. Hernandez to Gutierrez, sends it up. Sinise able to get a touch on it. Drops it back to Velasquez once again. Looking to switch field here. Delgado. Little give and go. That's going to be sent forward, but no Pointer making the run, so that's going to be an easy ball there for Schultz. He's going to feed it right back up for the Cougars. CUC once again controlling the tempo here. Castaneda on that far side. Little spin move there. Has that broken up by Buckley. Pointers looking to attack. That ball's fed up. Buckley using his speed. Can't quite get there. Going to be broken up by CUC.
And like you said, the Pointers have been repeatedly trying to just turn this game into almost a sprint, but the Cougars have done a very good job of slowing the pace and making it so that the Pointers have to play to their speed.
And that's exactly it, Eric. I mean, we've seen it. The Cougars are taking this opportunity. Even right now, Kyle Schultz taking his time to send that ball up, letting things settle for a little bit. It's those little strategies that they're using to control that tempo, and we're seeing it play in favor of CUC as we're going to get a free kick here. And once again, CUC slowing that tempo down. They're not letting the Pointers get too fast-paced and too far ahead of them.
Yeah, the Pointers are more running and gunning it. The Cougars are a little bit more methodical with how they're moving the ball up the field and how they're operating.
Here's Caleb Kale. Cutting middle. Looks to connect with Velasquez. Can't quite. That's going to hand things right back over. Pointers are attacking now. Here's Frederick. Pulling it back out. Sends this ball down onto the near side to Morosky. Crosses that one inside, poked away. Pointers remain with possession. The feed up top here. Little give and go, trip up outside of the box, but the Pointers staying with it. CUC now with an opportunity. Badillo sends it forward. Little trip up there. Badillo once again, now looking to connect with Sinise. A little bit behind him. Sinise can't quite get there. Cougars in a really good rhythm, but just can't connect on that. Looks like Badillo, Delgado, and Sinise were all on different paces, trying to make the same run, but just couldn't quite get where they needed to be. Badillo sending it forward to Delgado, who looked to cross field, but instead just couldn't connect with Sinise on that run.
Yeah, the Cougars have had almost a very nice flow going, but just a little bit that they haven't been together and on the same page has prevented them from converting some of the really good chances that we've had, like the one we just saw there.
Absolutely, and it's great effort from all of the Cougars here. Everybody trying to, just can't quite find that rhythm yet. But again, that's what these early non-conference games are for. Is here's a breakaway for the Pointers. Kyle Schultz coming out, getting a foot on it to clear it out. Great play there from the Cougar keeper. Looks like a shoo-in there for Johnson, but Schultz said otherwise. But as I was saying, Eric, this is exactly what these non-conference games are for. It's to work on finding that rhythm and get into that same pace so that by the time conference play rolls around, which is just around the corner for the Cougars, they're able to find that rhythm. They're able to connect and be in sync a little bit more.
And you hope that, again, the Cougars can just get the flow right.
Joachimson has an opportunity there that's going to be poked away. Throw in for the Pointers. Looks like Cougar defender lost his footing a little bit and created that space for Joachimson to be able to continue his run. Fortunately, the rest of the Cougar defenders able to lock in and lock down. That's going to give a long throw in here for the Pointers. They're going to be stacking inside the box here.
And they've had luck with this type of throw in earlier. They're trying to replicate it now.
Ball is up. Velasquez gets ahead on it, but it's going to be a free kick for the Cougars heading downfield.
And again, we've seen this Cougars defense hold strong throughout much of the game. It's just been a few instances when the Pointers have been able to get the ball past them and get it into the back of the net.
Under 25 minutes here to play in this match. CUC trailing 3-1, but a really, really competitive game that we've seen so far today as Sinise finds Velasquez. Drops it back here for Gutierrez. Back to Sinise. Sends it forward to Delgado. Delgado has one for himself, but it's going to go right into the hands of Jacob Havlick. Keeper here for the Pointers, keeping his streak here alive in the second half.
Yeah, Delgado tried to get a deep shot off. He saw he had space. He had a good angle, but he wasn't able to get a whole lot of air behind that kick and off the ball, so instead it just kind of ended up bouncing straight into the arms of Havlick.
Pointers now taking their time. That one's going to be sent forward. Stevens Point winning it in the air, has a great opportunity here. Here's Buckley. Buckley on the far side. He has one himself, and that's going to go just wide. I believe it was batted around a little bit. It is, so that's going to be a corner kick for the Pointers. Great defense from the Cougars to get a touch on that to deflect it.
Yeah, Buckley was coming in, had a very nice angle close to the goal. Cougars defense were able to deflect the ball, send it out. But like you said, Pointers now have a chance to convert on the corner.
Corner coming in. Cougars able to get the first touch on it, but that's going to go straight out of play and provide that long throw in for the Pointers once again. We are going to see some subs coming in before this throw in.
Both teams deciding they want a little bit different personnel here for this throw in by Smith, and for the Pointers, see if they can get another one to their lead, and the Cougars trying to prevent it.
Looks like on those substitutions, Buckley has exited the game as Schultz punches that one away, taking out his own player in the process. Castaneda is down. Schultz coming out to grab that ball, but looks like Castaneda and Schultz on that collision maybe came down wrong. Schultz making some great saves there to prevent the Pointers from scoring off of that set piece.
Yeah, Schultz was there stopping the Pointers from getting a good look and breaking that up when it looked like they might regain possession, but might have come at the cost of one of his teammates.
As we see athletic training driving around on the golf cart to go pick up Castaneda, getting there in speedy amount of time. CUC athletic trainers always on top of their jobs. Fantastic athletic training staff here at CUC.
And for Castaneda, it's nothing too severe. Just a bit of an awkward landing, hopefully.
So a little bit of pause in play here as trying to get some subs situated or see if Castaneda's making his way back up. It looks like he is off of the field of play, but pretty close to it, so they might be waiting until he gets a little bit further away before resuming play. But while we wait for that, Eric, it is also important to talk about this CUC men's soccer team squad. We talked a little bit about how impressive it was for Stevens Point to be having the season they're having now and the season that they had last year. But we can't diminish the Cougars either. I mean, CUC, they're in a little bit of a drought here. Obviously, we talked about their 1-2-1 record to start the season. But when you look at how they started the last season, they started 1-3 to start the season. So already coming in, you're picking up that 1-2-1, you're adding in that tie, you're adding in some more goals. So we're seeing those improvements even just to start this early goings of the season. Third season under head coach Brad Callahan, we're seeing a lot more consistency, a lot more returning faces, and we're seeing that translate here on the field.
Yeah, last year the Cougars really struggled with the turnover rate from the year prior, but now, like you said, they're keeping the team pretty consistent this year. They have a lot of returning players, and that's helpful because when you have those returning players, you already know how to play with each other. You know how your teammates work and how they operate, and it can provide a really big advantage on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, the longer that you're able to play with the same group of guys, the more connected you're going to be. That's what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about, this is the great warm-up for conference play because they're not quite in that rhythm yet, this early going in the season. And we see that because we've got so many strong, talented first-year players here on this squad. But being able to just see those names pop back up on the roster year after year, it's making a difference. And especially in a program that saw some coach turnover, unfortunately, prior to Coach Callahan coming in, it's nice to have that consistency, and we're starting to see that kind of settle in here. And obviously it's translating on the field. We talked about Michael Sinise. He picked up his 4th goal of the season today. Last year he had 3 goals total, and he co-led the entire team in goals scored. So I think that says a lot about the offensive production that we're seeing from the Cougars so far in this early goings of the season and the team as a whole.
Yeah, it shows that the offense has evolved from last year, which is very nice to see even just this early into the season.
Pointers wasting no time getting right back into things. And we're going to see an offsides flag thrown up. So CUC getting a free kick opportunity here. They're going to take advantage of it quickly. Little poke ahead. Pointers staying aggressive on both sides of the field. They may be up 3-1, but they're playing like this is a 0-0 ball game.
Yeah, they're playing like that. There's still everything to play for.
That ball is batted away by Velasquez. Great defense there. A dangerous cross into the box. But CUC staying on top of it. And here's Sinise on the other end. Michael Sinise, he's going to send that one forward. Looking to get a touch on it. Able to keep it in. Cougars have some opportunities here. That's going to be a throw in for the Pointers.
Yeah, Cougars had a good run there. Sinise had the ball out in front, but Cougars weren't able to get proper control of it, and Pointers got it out off the Cougs, and now the Pointers have a throw-in of their own. And we're saying that the Cougars have been playing a little bit of a more methodical pace throughout this game, but as we approach the last 20 minutes, They're down 2 goals. Is it time for them to maybe start ratcheting up the aggressiveness and the intensity?
Yeah, it's a great point to make, Eric. I think that it's a balance of remaining in control of this game despite being down, but knowing that you've got to hit crunch time, that things have to start clicking and you have to start moving pretty quick. You no longer have 40 minutes to work with. As that clock ticks down, so does your chances and your opportunities to equalize or come ahead, as the Pointers are going to continue to take advantage. As we see here, a one-on-one here, the shot off, saved by Kyle Schultz. Great defensive efforts there from Daniel Gutierrez, keeping, I believe that was Wilkerson, keeping Wilkerson on his left side, forcing that shot that was a little bit off balance, and Kyle Schultz just making a fantastic save.
Yeah, that was great defense by Gutierrez, making it so that Wilkerson didn't have a proper one-on-one with him and the keeper, and instead, like you said, had to kind of take a bit of a rough, off-balance shot.
Sinise coming down on the other end. He's taking advantage of it. A good slide tackle there. I believe that was Noah Johnson. CUC with a quick throw in. Here's Ocampo. Velasquez keeping it on the far side of the field. Looking to feed Sinise. Cougars sending one in. Ocampo inside the box, can't connect with it. And the Pointers are going to clear that one out.
So again, the Cougars had a good opportunity there, but Pointers stopped them.
Wilkerson now, he's coming down. Schultz, the one-on-one opportunity, makes the sliding grab. Great goalkeeping mindset there from Kyle Schultz. Wilkerson had all the opportunity, just couldn't quite get that ball off of his foot in time. Schultz rushing out and able to make that stop.
Yeah, Wilkerson had a bit of a too long touch, and Schultz made him pay for it, dove right on top of it to stop a potential goal.
And now we're going to see another injury here for the Cougars, as I believe Velasquez goes down. We're going to see athletic training coming back out. So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for this CUC men's soccer team. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the broadcast that this is closing out that home stretch. The Cougars opening up the season with straight home games. They haven't played anywhere but at home, so they're going to be taking on Eureka College on the road this Saturday, a 2 p.m. kickoff, before heading over to Rockford, Illinois for a first conference matchup of the season against Rockford University next Wednesday on September 17th. So CUC getting ready to kick off NAC play. They've only got one more non-conference before getting things rolling in the conference. And let's talk a little bit about conference, Eric. Last season, the Cougars finished 11 in the NAC. They're chasing their first conference playoff appearance since 2021. And right now, it's a clean slate. They haven't started conference play, only this non-conference. What are we looking like for this upcoming conference slate?
Well, I think the Cougars are in a pretty decent spot. Like, yeah, they're 1-2-1 to start this season, but like you said, it's not conference yet. These games are meant to build the momentum as they play, and they've played a very tight game against Stevens Point, who has played other teams in the NAC, like you said, like Lakeland, like St. Norbert, and if the Cougs can hang with this team better than those other teams have been able to, that's a very good sign for the Cougs when they go into that conference play.
Absolutely. I mean, you absolutely touched on it there. And looking at that first conference opponent the Cougars have in Rockford University, Rockford finished just above the Cougs in NAC play last year. CUC finishing 11th with a conference record of 3-9. Rockford finished 10th with a conference record of 3-8-1. So those are two pretty evenly matched teams at the end of last season. And we talked about it today. This is a different CUC squad than last year. We've seen them do a lot of different things, so we can expect that conference play to look a little bit different. But going into your first conference game against a team that last season was pretty evenly matched up is a great way to kick off NAC play.
Oh, absolutely. It's a team that you're on the relatively same level against last year, and now that the Cougs are a more well-oiled machine this year, they're feeling that they can go into Rockford and they can potentially win their first game of conference and get conference play started on a very good start.
Absolutely, and we're looking like we're going to get things ready to roll here back in River Forest. Just under 18 minutes to play here in the game. CUC has possession here and looking to push things up As that ball is cleared out, Pointers able to get a touch on it. Here's Kale battling on that far side, able to retain a possession. Pointers coming out aggressive after that stoppage. Batting around in the air. There's Urban. Looks to flick over for Wilkerson, but Cougars able to control it. And realistically, not stats that we're tracking here, Eric, but if we had to look at this, I would say that the Pointers have won the majority of the balls in the air, and that has really translated to their time of possession here. CUC does a great job of breaking up passes on the ground. They do a great job of not letting those balls through, but the Pointers really taking advantage of what they can win in the air.
Yeah, the Pointers has been a good job of, if it's a ball up in the air, they've done a good job of centering themselves under it and deflecting it to their teammates and keeping it away from the Cougars.
Hernandez dropping back here to Gutierrez. Gutierrez now coming up, looking to keep that ball on that far side. Instead comes up the middle himself. He's going to have that tripped up by Wilkerson, and that's going to be cleared out. Sent long downfield by Johnson. Ocampo now here on the back line. We're seeing that slower pace here from the Cougars as they're trying to control, take advantage of what they can. Pushing forward, Kale now in the midfield. Cuts back. Looking to switch here. Gutierrez sends it back far side. Figueroa now sends it back over on that far side. Cougars looking to push up. And that's going to be cleared out by the Pointers.
And when the Pointers clear the ball, they don't just get it back to about midfield. They send it all the way back almost towards the Cougar goal and make it so that the Cougars have to turn around and have a long way to go before they're deep on the Pointer side.
Ocampo sends that one in. Sinise coming through. He can't quite get there. Great defense from Johnson to not let Sinise have a play on that ball. That's going to be sent all the way back downfield. But Urban pressing here quickly. Wilkerson on the backside. He's taking advantage of a sleeping Cougar defense. Wilkerson has the opportunity with the left-footed shot. Schultz came out of the goal, but Wilkerson just could not put that on frame. Great opportunity there for the sophomore. CUC once again getting lucky.
Yeah, Wilkerson had a prime opportunity there. But I think when Schultz came up, it kind of narrowed the goal for him, so he had to try to get it to the Wilkerson tried to get it past the right side of Schultz into the left side of the net and just wasn't able to get the proper angle on it.
Schultz sends this one downfield. Pointers win it in the air, and here they come. Wilkerson now. Flag is up for offsides, but Kyle Schultz with the save no matter what. Schultz, like we said, his first appearance since the first game of the season, and he is showing why he should be on the field, making some fantastic saves for the Cougars.
Yeah, Schultz is basically making a statement right now as to why he should be the starter over Gudiel, showing that he is capable of making some fantastic saves and keeping the Pointers out of the goal.
Schultz already 3 saves here in the half and still 14 minutes to play. Little back and forth battle there. Ocampo goes down, starting to get scrappy, but CUC trying to remain in control here. Pointers, like we said earlier, they're up 3-1, but they're playing like a 0-0 ball game. Not content with the 3-1 lead, and they're taking advantage of every mishap the Cougars are seeing. That through ball for Frederick is rejected by the Cougars. Kale now looks to send one down and can't quite get there is Figueroa, but that's going to be a throw in for CUC.
Now the Cougars are deep on the Pointer side of the field. They're still trailing by 2. Now is a good time for them to really try to string some good plays together and try to see if they can cut the lead in half.
Seeing a quick substitution here for the Cougars. Delgado coming back on the field. Going to send the ball straight in for him. Sinise collects it. Switches it over. Kale outside the box. Sinise rounding around. Sinise looks to send it in, but nobody's dropping middle for him. So that ball's going to be cleared out by the Pointers. CUC keeping possession.
On that last play, it looks like Sinise knew that there would be a hole in the middle and that there would be and he thought there would be a Cougar player there. Unfortunately for him, there was not.
Here come the Pointers trying to capitalize on their opportunity. Cougar defense settling in. Urban drops it back, and it looks like the feed was attempted for Wilkerson. Wilkerson didn't break on that run, so ended up just putting that ball out of play, and another CUC player is down onto the field. Cougars feeling the impact of such a busy early season non-conference schedule, seeing a lot of fatigue and a lot of, looks like this might just be some cramping or tightness as we see athletic trainer Ank stretching out on that far side for CUC. But again, it's been a fast-paced early season for them. CUC obviously playing today. They played on Sunday. They played the previous Wednesday. They played the previous Monday. They've had a consistent go, go, go kind of schedule, and we're seeing that really take a toll on these athletes' bodies.
Yeah, when you play 5 games in the span of roughly 13 days, you're really just more prone to wear and tear because you're just go, 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 go. You don't have a moment of rest. So now that is one nice thing about conference play coming up is Cougars will have a few more days off in between games.
Absolutely, as we're seeing both teams take advantage of this to grab some water, but the Pointers offense is remaining in position. They are staying locked in, not ready to move from their posts here. They're staying aggressive even when play is not happening. Taking a look at this upcoming schedule for Stevens Point. Like we mentioned, they played some NAC teams previously, and obviously taking on the Cougars here today. But they head back to their own home field on Sunday before going back on the road the following Wednesday. They don't kick in for conference play until early October. Their first conference game not slated until October 4th against UW Whitewater. So still quite a bit of time in the non-conference schedule for this Stevens Point squad.
Yeah, we act a little bit smaller than the NAC, not as many teams. So like you said, conference play is pushed a little more back for Stevens Point, but that just gives them more opportunities to learn how to play as a cohesive team until conference play starts.
Later in the non-conference schedule for Stevens Point, they're going to be taking on 2 more NAC teams in Concordia University, Wisconsin, and Marian University, slated for late September, early October. So taking advantage of those Wisconsin schools that we have, obviously here in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference. We're a mix of some Wisconsin teams, some Illinois teams. So Stevens Point taking advantage of the NAC Wisconsin teams that they can. But officially back underway here. Just under 12 minutes now. Cougars looked to resume play, but the head official, not happy about something, was looking down at the schedule, so I can't quite say exactly what happened, but nonetheless, play is resuming here. Kyle Schultz on the goal kick.
And, we talk about the Cougars' offense being methodical. We have seen them go boom, boom, boom in short bursts. In that Andrews game, they scored 3 goals in about 2 minutes, 2 of which just 14 seconds apart.
Wilkerson coming down now. Ocampo playing great defense on him. Jockimson can't quite get that one off cleanly as Figueroa there to break it up. Ocampo keeping that one in play. He sends it forward. Here's Figueroa. Broken up there by McGinnis. A little back and forth battle there. Frederick keeping control of it. He's coming. Sends it inside for Buckley. Buckley can't quite get a good touch on that. And that's going to be a free kick for the Cougars. They're going to get Buckley for some extracurriculars on Schultz. Pointers have had a lot of those opportunities here in the second half, Eric. We've seen those runs going in the right spot. We've seen the ball being placed in the right spot, but that first touch just a little bit too far for them to be able to control and get that shot off as needed.
Yeah, there's been several opportunities, like you said, where if their first touch had just been a little bit closer and a little bit more control, their lead might be more than 2.
CUC kicking it into high gear here on that far side. Kale coming down quickly. Can't quite get a touch on that. Throw in here for Stevens Point. Beautiful day here in River Forest, not a cloud in sight. Temperatures have jumped up as of the last few days into the 80s, but we're feeling a cool breeze right now as we're getting a little bit of extracurriculars there. We're going to see Wilkerson getting a yellow card on that shove. Looks like for the Cougars, Christian Barajas has gone down and limping his way back up.
Given how physical these two teams are, a bit interesting that it took us roughly 80 minutes to see our first yellow card.
Free kick here for the Cougars, under 10 to play. Seeing these substitutions come in before play resumes. Couple for both sides. Notably, we're seeing Wilkerson coming back off the field for the Pointers. And coming back on is going to be Christopher Ruiz. Ocampo and Sinise coming off the field for the Cougars. Two of your biggest offensive producers finding their way off the field for CUC. Looking like almost an entirely different lineup here than we've seen in the starting lineup for the Cougars, I believe, entirely.
Yeah, Cougars just flipping the players around, bringing on a new set of players to try to see if this will be the squad that can break through here in the last 10 minutes, see if they can make up this 2-point deficit.
Officials going over and discussing something with both benches. We saw them speaking to the Stevens Point staff first and now having a discussion with the Concordia Chicago staff. Not quite sure what the issue is. Head coach of the Cougars, Brad Callahan, exchanging some words now with, it looks like, the Stevens Point bench, as the head official still discussing some things with the assistant coaching staff for the Cougars. Taking a look at this officiating staff for CUC here today, our head official, Doru Lusasio, and the assistant referees are Peter Malik, Andriy Yatsurek, and Cipriano Menendez. Some familiar names that we've had here at CUC quite frequently, but whatever the issue is, it seems to be resolved. It looks like Sinise is coming back on the field. Yes, Sinise is coming back onto the field, so something to do with the substitutions was causing the issues here. As looking to get back rolling here any moment now. CUC still with a free kick, and we are underway after a long stoppage trying to figure out what the situation was. Here's Buckley, has that one broken up. Throw in here for the Pointers.
Buckley was ready to just start running right out of that stoppage, but Cougars able to poke it back out of bounds and again slow down the tempo a little bit.
Jochimson with the throw in here. Ruiz can't quite get a touch on it. Good defense here from the Cougars. Able to turn that corner, and that's going to be a goal kick for the Cougars.
Ruiz was trying to get out of that near side corner and tried to spin his way to his left out of it, but just went a little step too far and went out of bounds.
So we're seeing those initial substitutions that were causing some issues finally coming through. So Sinise back off the field for CUC. As this ball is batted around, winning it in the air, there is Orline. McGinnis sending it back, still batting around in the air. Delgado here loses control of it. Coming down quickly is Chavez. Chavez feeds it forward. Broken up there once again. Great defense there by Gutierrez. Klosick on the far side. Garcia here has it in the middle. Switches it near side here. Can't quite get a touch on it. It's going to be a throw in for the Pointers. Cameron Jochimson's going to take this throw in for Stevens Point.
Stevens Point continuing to keep up the aggressiveness of their team and keep up the intensity.
This ball headed downfield, and Buckley chasing it down quickly, but Schultz able to scoop it up beforehand. Just about 7 minutes to play here in the game. CUC trailing 3-1. The most beautiful thing about soccer, though, Eric, is it's 3-1, 7 minutes to play, but this really still could be anybody's game. A matter of 2 goals in 7 minutes is not an impossible feat, and CUC remaining aggressive and not slowing up is going to be key in trying to control that, as Stevens Point has that one batted away. CUC defense doing exactly that, locking down and doing what they can to keep this game attainable.
Yeah, like you said, 7 minutes is plenty of time in a soccer game. Again, we've seen this Cougars team score 3 goals in 2 minutes before. They're a team that, if they get the right set of scenarios, can just all of a sudden turn on the gas and just ratchet a few into the back of the net.
Stevens Point, though, they're going to stay aggressive all the way through as that ball is fed up and forward. A great ball there from Jochimson. Has to drop back. And can't quite connect on that pass. CUC has an opportunity here. Here's Delgado. Sends it forward for Garcia. Broken up by the Pointers. Taking time in the midfield is Carter Smith. CUC now with it. Delgado on that far side. Slows up, a little trip up there with the Pointers defender. Pokes it back. Pelayo can't quite get a touch on it. That's going to give it to the Pointers. Long ball going down. It's a foot race here on the near side. Ruiz is going to win it. No other Pointers in sight for him. A little shove there, and then following in, that's going to go just over top. A great look there. Pointers just really taking advantage of it. And we're going to see a stoppage of the clock. Really great shot there. Quite literally just missed the goalpost by inches.
Yeah, Ruiz did a great job of maintaining possession of the ball all the way down and then offloaded to, I think it was Buckley, who had a good shot but just put it up a little bit too high. And like you said, missed the top of the net by inches.
I believe it was Buckley as well. I couldn't quite get a read on that number at first, but great speed from Buckley. We've seen him playing fast-paced all game. And exactly that, he came out of nowhere flying into the box with a perfect position there for Ruiz to send that ball in. Pointers looking to do it again here, but batted around by the Cougars. Pelayo now with the ball. Broken up again. Chavez now has it for the Pointers, drops it back. Urban drops it back for the Pointers. Under 5 to play here in River Forest. Buckley on the far side. He turns the corner, drops it back. Sends it inside for Urban. Urban with the right-footed shot. That's going to be blocked. Pointers remaining aggressive here. That ball's in, and that's going to find the back of the net. Ruiz gets a touch on it. It sneaks through. Schultz makes the diving attempt, but Cougar backline defense allowing that defender to sneak through and catch Schultz off guard.
Yeah, Ruiz just came in through the near side towards the goal, almost unabated. The Cougars didn't quite realize he was there, and then the ball went straight to him, and he was just able to get a nice touch on it and send it to that left corner of the goal, just out of the reach of Schultz.
Yeah, and that's something that we've been talking about a lot here, Eric, is that Cougar defense getting content. And with this Pointers team, you can't be content because they're going to find those ways to sneak in. We've seen it happen not just on goals, but on all of their offensive opportunities, just taking advantage of when CUC feels comfortable, they're going to make them feel uncomfortable. And that's exactly what happened there. That back line of that CUC defense felt fine with that shot or that cross coming in low. We mentioned it. The Cougars play great defense when the ball is on the ground. They felt comfortable with it, and the Pointers showing them why you should never feel comfortable.
Yeah, the Pointers are a team that very much play the full 90 minutes. They're not going to slow down just because they're inside the last 5. They're going to keep the pace up, and they're going to keep pushing and keep trying to find the back of the net. And the Cougars, unfortunately, discovered that the hard way.
Little over 4 minutes here to play in River Forest. Pointers going up 4-1 here. Still lots of time left on the board. It's going to be some substitutions for the Pointers. And I believe after these subs finish coming through, it's going to be a free kick here for CUC. This ball sent long downfield. Klozik can't get ahead on it. Coming in on that back side and unable to get it, but that's going to be a corner kick. I believe it was Figueroa trailing on that backside. It was able to get a touch, couldn't get a shot off, but turns that into a corner kick. So Figueroa here taking this corner kick. Sends this ball in. Coming out and winning it in the air is the Pointers. They're able to get it down. Batted around. A misread there from Matthew LeBoy, but able to recover well. Pointers taking advantage of it. Here's Ruiz with a one-touch turn. And we're going to see a free kick for Stevens Point. And I believe a yellow card from it. Eric, I believe we might have jinxed it a little bit. We talked about that first card coming late in the game and seeing some here even later in the game. It's been a fairly evenly matched game, and it hasn't been too chippy. But as we get down into these final minutes, we're seeing these emotions run high.
Yeah, it's running high on both sides. If you're Stevens Point, you feel, all right, victory's even closer and closer. And if the Cougs, you realize that and you understand that your time to try to tie this game is desperately running low. And so that kind of causes a little bit of desperation for the Cougs, and that can lead to some tense emotions.
Free kick here for the Pointers. Dangerous territory. Kyle Schultz alone on the line. Frederick sends this ball in, headed away by the Cougars. Great defense there. Figueroa now coming up on the far side. Little give and go action there, broken up by Stevens Point. A hard check there from LeBoy. Stevens Point sends that one down. Just about 3 minutes remaining here in this game. As a goal kick here for CUC. Noticing on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new windscreen here at Concordia Stadium says home of the Cougars, recently installed this week. So CUC continuing to improve our facilities, and this latest windscreen just one of many recent improvements here on the campus of Concordia Chicago. Pelayo now with the ball in the midfield. He has that stripped away. Pointers coming down. Can't get that through ball. Broken up by the Cougars. And down goes Escobar. Free kick here for CUC, under 3 minutes now.
And CUC pushing the pace. They know that the odds of scoring 3 goals in 2.5 minutes isn't high, but you know, you play until the game is over and that final whistle has blown.
Schultz now with the ball. Once again, slowing pace down here. He sends it over to LeBoy on the far side, who switches right away, but the Pointers are able to control that in the air. A little back and forth, still batting around in the air. Popped up there by Orline. It's going to be a throw in for the Pointers on the far side. Under 2 minutes now to play here in River Forest. Throw in, finds its way inside the box. Cleared out by CUC. Klosick, the only Cougar chasing it down. That's going to be fed right back in by the Pointers. Cleared out once again by the Cougars. Pelayo now in the midfield, has that stripped away. Pulling it back out. Pointers now feeding it in on the near side. Here's Ruiz trying to get control of that. He's going to be able to get a touch on it, but it's going to be a free kick for the Cougars.
The Pointers keeping it aggressive up till the end, trying to find Ruiz there, going down the near side, see if he could get in position to get a good shot off, but wasn't able to do so as now the clock ticks under 1 minute.
Long ball from Schultz played down. Klosick chasing it. Shielding it is Joachimson. And that's going to roll straight out of play for a goal kick for the Pointers. Just about 30 seconds here. Pointers have the opportunity to close this game out quietly as this ball is put into play in the midfield. Cougars trying to take advantage of the little time that they have left. Garcia sends it forward. Coming down quick. Looks to feed Figueroa here. 5 seconds to go. Little give and go from Figueroa. That's going to be broken up. And with time running out, that is going to do it here in River Forest. Stevens Point coming away big with the 4-1 victory over the Cougars. These two teams, granted the scoreboard has a quite a bit of a goal differential here, but it has been a very well-balanced game here. Both teams having some great opportunities. The Cougars just unable to convert where they needed to. And on the flip side, the Pointers taking advantage of what they had. Obviously, there was a handful of opportunities that the Pointers could have capitalized on as well, but they really took advantage of their strengths, and they played them well today.
Yeah, when the Pointers had deep throws or corner kicks, they made sure to capitalize on them. They didn't let them go to waste. They used those to find the back of the net and were able to string enough of them together that they ended up getting 4, which allowed them to beat the Cougs. And again, the Cougs had a lot of good opportunities. They had several very good chances throughout this game. They just weren't able to get very many of them off, and they weren't able to get them past the Pointer defense.
Absolutely, and I think that's worth noting is that CUC, they're stringing things together game by game, piece by piece, and we're seeing those things come into play a little bit. I mean, again, the stat line looks a little bit lopsided here when you look at Stevens Point, 19 total shots to CUC's 6, 10 total shots on goal to CUC's 3. But you look at it, and CUC has really played well in the midfield. They've played well on those runs. And once those things start connecting, it's going to be a completely different team that we're going to see come into conference play. But realistically, we have to highlight a couple things. Obviously, we had 2 goalkeepers playing here for the Cougars today. Both of them picking up 3 saves. So Kyle Schultz coming in the second half, able to get things done. Nathan Gutierrez in the first half, he was able to make some big-time saves. So some lockdown defense from the Cougar goalkeepers really kept this game where it was. Obviously, the Pointers taking advantage of what they can, but CUC goalkeepers really locking down.
Yeah, CUC goalkeepers were in top form today. They were able to do, again, the Pointers had 19 shots, and the Cougars were able to keep all but 4 of them out of the back of the net. The Cougars goalies were great. It was just the Stevens Point was able to just get around and get a few more nice, well-placed shots off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last Cougar that we really need to highlight, we've talked about him a lot today, is Michael Sinise picking up his 4th goal of the season, surpassing his total season goals from last year. So we're seeing that offensive production here for the Cougars really spark a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen him really progress so far this season. Even when he's not scoring goals, he's still being a big playmaker in the front of the net. He's the one that's leading the charge when the Cougs are going on runs down the field. He's the one that's getting key passes off and just being a big difference maker on the field, even if necessarily the stat lines don't show it.
Absolutely. And then on the flip side, taking a look at Stevens Point, I mean, they had some really big goal scorers today. Obviously, we saw their number 1 goal scorer, Connor Urban, picking up his goal early in the game and really just capitalizing. They've got a strong front line. They've got a strong returning group. And taking a look at those that scored goals today, you had Connor Urban, you had Jackson Buckley, you had Noah Johnson, and you had Christopher Ruiz, and those are all your strong frontline players who have already picked up goals this season. And looking at specifically Connor Urban, now he just jumps ahead in goal scoring for the Pointers. 3 goals on the season. He takes that number 1 cake.
Yeah, he was the big main offensive player for Stevens Point. Not only did he have a goal, he also had an assist. But he was a big role in getting the giving the Pointers the win today. But like you said, there were several other players who were just running down the field constantly. It felt like Devin Wilkerson was at times always in front of the Cougars' goal with the ball.
Absolutely. Well, as we get ready to wrap up here on the Cougar Sports Network, CUC men's soccer back in action on Saturday for their first road game of the season. They head over to Eureka, Illinois for a 2 p.m. kickoff as they take on Eureka College. CUC men's soccer looking to build on their last non-conference game before they start conference play. After today, they move into 1-3-1, and the Stevens Pointers move up to 5-0 for the first time in program history. But as we get ready to sign off of the Cougar Sports Network, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that made today's production possible. Obviously, starting out with our production crew, Abby Kulig and Alyssa Campos, getting things done and making our live stream look as beautiful as it always does. Working our cameras today, Luciana Moran Cruz and Sophia Pedraza. Working at the camera on field for us was Emmy Lucero. Over working the table for us is Aura Cortez. And obviously running our stats, our assistants in the athletic communications department, Sydney Lloyd and Corey Welch. Joining me on the call today, Eric Perry. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kayla McLeod signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
So much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.